I'm feeling good.
And now we're going to talk about altcoins. Altcoins are broken down into two very distinct categories. Now, the first category is currency, and it makes total sense that these are storage of value. The next category are assets, and these have real world applications. And what we'll do is we'll talk about a few of those examples when we move further through the presentation. Now, what we can see here is these are the currencies. You've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, the two massive ones. And again, looking at portfolios, it doesn't harm having some of the big ones in your portfolio because you know that they're pretty safe for the long term. But what you can see is there's two Ethereum and two Bitcoins. So you're probably scratching your head thinking, why are there two? I thought there was only one. Well, it comes down to some real simple stuff. In terms of the Ethereum, it was back in the day, somebody had left the wallet keys visible, some hackers got in and they stole $50 million. The only way they could rectify it was create another split of the chain, and therefore that was how Ethereum Classic was born. In terms of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, again, what happened is that Bitcoin started to slow down, transaction fees started to get higher, so they split the chain, basically trying to extend the chain and also make it faster at the same time. So the whole point of Bitcoin is that for it to be mass marketed, it needs to be quick, it needs to be fast, because we don't like to wait anymore for anything. And in its current state as it was really slow, and now it's a little bit faster. But we've got some crackers in this top 10. Neo, Dash, IOTA, even Bitcoin Cash, all been on massive growth spurts recently. Done really, really well. Neo wasn't even in the top 10. IOTA was nowhere near, and they've all made some real big moves. So just because it's 30, 40, even 100, it can still get in the top 10 if it has all the key elements that come together for an investor to want to invest and buy the coin and have practical applications and all these types of things. For me, I quite like Litecoin. It's one of the stable, hardcore coins. No matter of the fluctuation up and down, it relatively stays around the same price and has. 4 or 5 months ago, it pretty much doubled in price, which was great. That was a good gain. But since then, it's pretty much, no matter if the market's up or down, it remains pretty stable. So it's like it is the little brother to Bitcoin, but it stays pretty hardcore in terms of stability. And that's really good when you think about new people into the marketplace, because not everybody wants just a bit of a Bitcoin. People like to own a full coin, and you've got, not many people can just splash out $4,000 straight off the cuff, or $8,000 for a couple of coins. Where Litecoin is a bit like it's like your first puppy, isn't it? It's like a starter kit. Can get you going, just get a few coins, see how you can trade it in and out. There's not massive fluctuation, so you can trade that on small margins and just have a play and just get used to some of the trading and stuff. Now, tell a little story about Ethereum. So Ethereum, I started looking at Bitcoin in about August-ish 2016, maybe a little bit earlier, where Tony Robbins was talking about this cashless society. And I was really intrigued about, new things with digital. I'm into my technology, and I just thought, maybe he's got something here. He's normally right about most things. So I started doing some research and stumbled across Ethereum as part of the research. And I got in January, start of February as such, got in around about the $8 mark. And as you can see, within a very short period of time, I'd valued Ethereum around about the $50 to $60 mark, and it just absolutely flew all the way up to 400. I actually held on to see where it would go because I was just completely fascinated. I bought 50, made quite a lot of money on that. You can do the maths. It got out at 280. Wait for it, it dipped to 120. As Warren Buffett always says, when people are selling, buy, and when people are buying, sell. So I did exactly that. Got back in, decent price, and that allows me to buy ICOs and stuff, which we'll talk about later. A guy that I train, him and his brother, they own 6,000 Ethereum, but they bought way back in the day. So they bought like October 2015. Now, they bought at $1 and they had 6,000 coins. You start doing the maths on that, that is $2.2 million. Well, all they did is they waited 2 years. So sometimes you can get lucky in terms of your timing into the marketplace. You know, sometimes that just happens in terms of like project timelines and all these types of things. And sometimes you just got to sit and wait it out. And you know, what it won't show you is the ups and downs in those 2 years. But I guarantee if we extrapolated that chart out, there'd be lots of ups and downs and sleepless nights and all sorts of things. But the overall picture is that tremendous gains on these altcoins. And this is what's so interesting. When they come in, they're new and they can absolutely rock it. Some don't, but at the moment we're seeing quite a lot with, you know, if they've got the right applications and they're solving real world problems, then these coins will rock it. Then we've got your assets. So what we can see here is that most of these are actually based on the Ethereum platform. So we know we talked about Ethereum being a currency, but it's also a platform where other coins have been able to build on top of that, and that's why it's such a popular coin. Now you can see in the list there's quite a few, but I'll just pull out a couple of examples. So you got Golem. So Golem works on the principle of, to make it as simple as possibly can, is that everybody generally has a computer. We don't always use the hardware space, so you know, your memory. What Golem will do is enable you to rent out that space. So the computer you've got at home that just sits there and does nothing, just chews up electricity and costs you money, well, now you can rent out the space that you're not using, and it's all encrypted, it's all secure within the blockchain, and you can rent that space out. So your computer's making money while you're asleep, while you're at work, and all these type of things. What an amazing concept. And that's what, in principle, what Golem does. And then you've got 10x. 10x is, it's going to allow you to have a card, like a credit card, debit card, and it will be loaded with your cryptocurrency. And it's going to enable you to go and pay for everyday things, such as McDonald's, which they're trying at the moment, doing some stuff, and different things with this card. And at point of purchase, it takes your cryptocurrency and turns it into fiat currencies, we already know it's just cash currency, and pays the retailer. So that's an amazing concept, and the benefits of using it for the retailers will be that there'll be less charges, you know, 1.5% versus 6% that they're currently paying now. So there is a real enticement to pick up this technology and use it, because at the end of the day, most businesses are under a lot of constraints in terms of like overheads and reporting back to stock markets of profits, and you know, there's only so much head cutting and sacking people you can do before you need to look at real efficiencies and margins and all these types of things. So for me, it's an absolutely fantastic concept, but it's just an example of where it can be applied in the real world. And if it can do that, and it can be as big as Visa or MasterCard, then this could be potentially huge. But there's other coins in there. I don't want to be biased in any way, but I just picked out two examples, just examples. Again, that top list that you see there, all great coins, all worth investigating, having a look, and doing your research. But again, another cracking example. So this is the most recent example I can pick out, is OMG. So as you can see, launched, it was around about the 50 cents mark, and we've seen huge growth to, I think it spiked at around about 9.15. And you can see it settled there about $7.50. Now, I was coaching a few people, doing some private coaching, and we all got into OMG quite an early point, around about 2.5. That's pretty much tripled people's portfolios. And that's the exciting thing about cryptocurrency. Now, they can sell part of their portfolio, get their original investment back, and the rest of the coin is free running. And then they can use that to invest in another coin and then do the same. Go up, sell a bit, take it back, reinvest. It's a very simple strategy. So altcoins can provide great growth, great value, great excitement, but also at the same time it comes with great risk at sometimes. So depending when you buy in, so it's flattening out at 750 now. Will it go down to 5? Will that be the price? Will it retrace? Not sure. You all need to look at all the technicals in a little bit more detail. For me, I'm out. I hold Ethereum, and if you hold Ethereum, you will get OMG coins free. And I think I did the maths the other day. It's 5% of the total OMG supply. And when I worked that out, you'd have to own 7.8 Ethereum to get 1 OMG coin. So it's worth holding Ethereum, which we've already talked about, which is quite stable, and you get OMG for free. So that's pretty cool. Need to check the dates and everything in terms of when that's happening.
If you liked today's video, please leave a like or a comment. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or check out the new ICO Discount Club website, where you can check out all the new ICOs, great discounts, and also prize giveaways. As always, I hope you got great value out of today's video, and I'll catch you on the next one soon.
I'm feeling low.